What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Once again, another Galaxy Note 10, Note 10 Plus comparison, and this is a video where I actually did a quick comparison and I feel like a lot of people might be looking at both of these phones, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, and trying to figure out which one is the better deal, whether they should go with the brand new Note 10 Plus or whether they should go back to the S10 Plus. And now, in my opinion, I think both of these phones are very, very good phones in my opinion, but I do have a strong opinion about a particular phone that honestly I think might be a better deal, but I'll get into that in a second. Let me just kind of tell you my experience. I've owned both of these phones. I still have the S10 Plus, I still have the Note 10 Plus. And to kind of put you in a little bit of a understanding, okay, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus came out in February. So it was announced in February, but it actually got released in March. So technically speaking, that is the older phone, but you can't really compare these like side by side. Like just because that phone came out in March doesn't make it older or like worse than the Note 10 Plus, because technically speaking, these are two separate sets of phones. You know, like the Note is not the same thing as the S series. So you can't really compare these in terms of the release date because that's just how they've always been. And these phones share a lot of similarity between them. Now, on the front, you can see that they're almost the same, but not really. The Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus has a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED display. That resolution is 1440p by 3040, which is the same as a Note 10 Plus, but you have a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display, same 1440p on the Note 10 Plus, but here's the important thing. The PPI, okay, the screen density, is technically higher on the S10 Plus than on the Note 10 Plus. Now, will you notice the difference? Will you notice it being less or higher resolution, whatever? Not really. I mean, the resolution is the same, but there technically are more pixels per inch on the S10 Plus, but you don't really notice it in my opinion. However, one thing that I did notice when holding both of these phones and when you're looking at them, the Note 10 Plus is a little bit more rectangular and a little bit more boxy than the S10 Plus, and that also kind of stems from like the Note 9 and the Note 8. They were pretty similar in terms of design, but I do find it kind of strange. I definitely do like the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus in the hand because it is a little bit more roundish. With the Note 10 Plus, it seems like it's almost kind of like stabbing the edge of my hand. I didn't really see a lot of people talking about this. Like I said, the Note 9 was kind of the same way, but I think it's a little bit more abrasive on the Note 10 Plus in my opinion. On the Note 10 Plus, you can see we do have a hole punch display, but it is only a single camera, whereas on the S10 Plus, we have a dual camera setup, which is really, really interesting for an older phone like the S10 Plus to have a dual camera setup on the front, but the Note 10 Plus only has one. However, the Note 10 Plus does have the S Pen, which is like a signature staple for the Note line. The S10, the S10 Plus, all those S series phones don't have it, but you know, there are some cool things that the S10 Plus has that the Note 10 Plus doesn't have, like that dual camera setup. They're both IP68 dust and water resistant, so thank God they didn't remove that for some reason. And on the back, you can see we both have triple camera setups. I'll talk about the camera in a second. Both lack headphone jacks, but both have USB Type-C ports, so at least that's a cool thing. At least there's some continuity there. Now, one of the really important things that I love hitting on is software. So they're both on One UI, they both got Android Pie. I will probably tell you that they're both going to end at the same time in terms of their software cycle. I don't think like the Note 10 Plus, because it is technically newer, I don't think Samsung is going to, outlast the S10 Plus unless there's like a 0.1 release of that final version of Android that both phones are getting. If there's a 0.1 release like Android 11.1 or something, maybe, just maybe, the Note 10 Plus will outlast it, but that really hasn't been the case in a minute, so I don't know if that's going to happen. That's just a theory of mine, but there is a possibility, so kind of keep that in mind. But in terms of stock software support, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus probably will last as long as the Note 10 Plus, but here's the more important thing. I am pretty sure that the S10 Plus, because it has been out longer, there might be more custom ROMs and roots out for it. So in terms of third-party developer support, I'm pretty sure the S10 Plus might outlast the Note 10 Plus in terms of third-party developer support. But here's another really interesting thing. And apparently the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus have outsold the Note 9 in terms of sheer numbers. So eventually it could mean that the Note 10 Plus could have better third-party developer support. So that means even if stock support is out, there could be a possibility that the Note 10 Plus will actually still last pretty long. So that's really, really cool. So that pretty much covers up software in terms of every way you can look at it. Now I'm going to tell you the specs of both these phones, the power of them, and I'll tell you right now, they're both almost exactly the same. But there is a little bit of a flip-flop that I'll get into in a second. But they both have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset, both have octa-core CPUs, both have Adreno 640 GPUs. here's where a little bit of flip-flopping happens. So there's 3 different variants of the S10 Plus and there's 2 different variants of the Note 10 Plus. So both variants of the Note 10 Plus have 12 gigs of RAM, the 256 and 512 gig models. However, the S10 Plus, like I said, has 3 different models. The base model, the 128 gig model, has 8 gigs of RAM. The mid-tier model, the 512 gig model, has 8 gigs of RAM as well. However, the top tier 1 terabyte model of the Galaxy S10 Plus has 12 gigs of RAM. So what that means is that if you get the base model of the S10 Plus, it's going to technically have 4 gigs of RAM less than the Note 10 Plus, but the top tier model will have the same. So depending on how you're going to look at these, how you're comparing them, that's going to be a big differentiating factor on whether it's the same, whether it's less, or in terms of keeping apps in the background. Now, I did have the base model, so kind of keep that in mind in terms of my performance and everything, but what I can tell you is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus was one of the fastest phones I've ever used in my whole entire life. Like, this phone flies. It's like crazy how fast this phone is. You can see, like, as soon as you open something, it's pretty much already open. The Samsung Galaxy S10 was pretty much the same exact way, but the S10 Plus is that on another level. Just a little bit better, I think. It's really not even, because it's a bigger screen, it has more pixels to push, whatever. But the Note 10 Plus is more of the same. Like, I really don't think that it's that crazy or anything like that, or crazy improvement, I would say. I still think the Note 10 Plus is a very fast phone. If you're looking at them side by side, like I've said, like I compared my S10 to the Note 10, maybe there's going to be a little difference here and there. Maybe the Note 10 Plus will be faster here, but there also could be cases where the S10 Plus would be faster too. So if you're getting the Note 10 Plus because of the performance speed increase or whatever, I don't think you're going to get that. I don't think you should go upgrade to a Note 10 Plus because of that, because I don't think you're going to get that. I think the Note 10 Plus is a very fast phone, but I also think the S10 Plus is a very fast phone as well. And if you're going from an S10 Plus to a Note 10 Plus because of the speed, I would highly recommend you not to do that. I don't think you're going to get that much of an improvement at all, if any. And in some cases, I mean, because of that lower pixels per inch, there's less pixels to push on the Note 10 Plus. So that also could aid into the power and the speed increase or whatever. But ultimately, I think both phones are extremely fast. And I don't think one is way faster than the other, like 100% of the time. I think it's flip-floppy a little bit, but both phones are extremely fast in my opinion. Now let's go ahead and talk about the cameras super quickly. They're both almost the same exact setup, believe it or not. They both have triple camera setups, 2 12 megapixel sensors, and then an ultra wide 16 megapixel sensor. And I'll tell you this right now, both cameras are some of the greatest cameras I've ever used. I've always found myself saying that Samsung cameras are probably the best cameras in mobile phones right now. That's including iPhones. I think at one point iPhones were better, but now Samsung has really caught up, and it's not even just in terms of like the sheer quality, but also the features that they throw in. Like, you can literally do so much with these cameras, and I think the one main improvement I would say for the Note 10 Plus are some of the features that Samsung has built into the software, not even just the sheer quality of it, but also some of the cool little things that could be helpful in the future. And one of those things is actually zoom in audio during the video. So when you're zooming into a video, you can actually zoom into the audio at the same time, which is so cool. I can see how it could be somewhat of an issue sometimes, like if you're like talking and you're doing a voiceover or something, and then you zoom in, and then would it zoom into the direction of what you're filming at? Let's say you're filming your dog, will it start zooming into your dog, and if it barks, will it go crazy? Or will it zoom into your voice? Like, sometimes I've tested that a little bit, but I really haven't found too much, honestly. So that is one thing, but I'll definitely tell you, camera sensors on both these phones are amazing. I don't think, like I said, one is way better than the other. In terms of the front cameras though, this is where we do see a little bit of a difference, okay? The S10 Plus had a dual camera setup, a main 10 megapixel sensor and an 8 megapixel sensor. The Note 10 only has one 10 megapixel sensor, which is kind of interesting. I was expecting at least 2 on that because the S10 Plus had that, but I guess it's whatever. To kind of end off the cameras, I'll definitely tell you both camera sensors are very good. I don't think one is way better than the other, but maybe the Note 10 Plus may have the advantage just because of that cool little features that they added within it. Now let's go ahead and end it off with the battery. So this is kind of an interesting thing because going from the Note 9 to the Note 10 Plus, there was an upgrade. So you do have an additional 300 milliamp hours. And going from the S10 Plus to the Note 10 Plus, you do have a little bit of a bigger battery. So the Note 10 Plus has a 4300 mAh battery. The Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus has a 4100 mAh battery. And without a doubt, I'll definitely tell you, probably the Note 10 Plus has the better battery life. You have reverse wireless charging on both these phones, the power bank feature, which is really good. Wireless charging on both of them, obviously. So I'll tell you, like, yes, the Note 10 Plus may have the better battery life overall, but I don't think it's like that much better. You might be getting like an extra, like, not even like 30 minutes of battery life, in my opinion. I think the S10 Plus has a great battery life for a flagship phone from Samsung. But of course the Note 10 Plus with the additional battery size, but also the decrease in the pixels per inch and it's the same resolution, but it's a bigger screen but lower pixels per inch. That might have something to do with it. But regardless, both batteries are very good on both these phones. And that's kind of, that's the thing, man. Like with both these phones, there's not one phone that just outright wins because they're so similar in so many ways. If you like the Note line, that's really great. You have micro SD card slots on both these phones, IP68 dust and water resistance, inbuilt fingerprint sensors in the screens. Like there's so much similarity that there's not really a clear winner. It's really up to you. Do you like the S Pen or do you not like the S Pen? That's really what it comes down to. If you like it, awesome, go for it. If you don't like it, the S10 Plus is also there too. But here's the most important thing I can hit on, okay? If I was coming from like a Samsung Galaxy S4, let's say I had that, okay? And let's say I had to choose one of these phones, I would not even pick up a Note 10 Plus or a brand new S10 Plus. I would pick up a used Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus right now. I would do that without a doubt. The reason being is because the S10 Plus, I think in the stores is like $999. The Note 10 Plus is $1049. The Note 10 Plus is definitely going to depreciate a lot. Give it like just a little bit of time. Probably like 2 months, that's probably going to go down to like 600 or like 550 probably. The S10 Plus is already at that point. I've already seen the used market, they're around 550 to 600. If you don't believe me, literally I bought my S10 Plus for like 580, I think. It was less than 600. That was less than a month ago. So I would highly recommend you guys, if you're into getting used technology, if you're okay with it, get a used Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. That's probably your best bet. If you have all the money to blow or whatever, get a brand new one, like who cares? But I think you're getting a better price per value phone from a used S10 Plus than a brand new Note 10 Plus or even a brand new S10 Plus, to be honest. But really, like I said, I don't think one phone is way better than the other. If I had to choose one, maybe I would pick the Note 10 Plus brand new, but there's really no clear winner here. It's really, do you like the Note line or do you like the S line, to be honest? But that's my recommendation. If you want to pick up brand new or certified refurbished models of these phones, I'll find the cheapest ones on Amazon and I'll link them straight in the description below so you guys can pick them up right there. If you have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.